Good evening, everybody. It's time again for your Rowdies Talk Radio, the Green and Gold Gospel.
Hey there, little Red Riding Hood, I got a problem and it's complicated. Going through changes and I just can't ignore the signs. Hear them now and it's so loud it hurts. Hear me growl, hear me howl when the full moon is out. Hear me growl, you see me run, you see me jump. Try to fight, but I emerge with the prize in hand. You better watch out, it's gonna take more than what you got. All eyes are on me and the silence is deafening. There's no help against this full moon. Don't ever say I didn't warn you, because I came to play, 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 wow!
Hello, Rowdies family, and welcome to the Unused Substitute Soccer Show, where we continue to spread the green and gold gospel, or as Fallout Boy likes to say, the therapist pumping through your speakers, especially after a weekend like this from your Rowdies. I am Dan, one of your hosts for this evening, and then we also have Ben, who we're still debating what he has more of, hair or thoughts in that head, but it's a losing battle.
Yeah, there's
So
really
how you
no
doing,
more-
Ben?
Did you plug an emo song in the beginning of this show?
Yeah.
God damn it. All right, cool. I guess that's how we're starting this.
Sorry, I don't know Limp Bizkit off the top of my head.
Don't you knock my Fred Durst. Well, okay, so that's it. Now we've started. Okay, well, look, I'm good. It's good to see you again. It was great to see you at the game. It was good to, fortunately or unfortunately, depending on how you look at it, we get to talk pretty often. And now you get to see my ugly mug at least once a week. Now you get twice this week. Lucky dog you.
Oh, man, this is why I'm drinking tonight.
Well, that are all the hugs. But I'm doing well, man. I had a good time at the game. It was nice to just be a fan. It was nice to just hang and talk with people. I'll be honest. I had to go back and watch this game again and watch the highlights again because I spent most of the time talking with people I never get to talk to and like having real conversations. And it was wonderful. Obviously the result wasn't what we wanted, but I've got plenty of thoughts on that. But as a whole, I was a great night, man. It was good to walk in early with you, kind of take a chance to go see Matt's Tifo and see some friends and just yeah, man, just be back at Al Lang. It was really good, man, and it was good to have you here, even though it was short. How you doing?
I'm all right. It's been a whirlwind. I got back to New York Sunday morning. I landed at 10 a.m. So it was like watched the match, got home, went out after the match, got back to East St. Andrews. I think we stayed up for a little bit talking and then went to bed at like 2 a.m. and then jumped in the car at 5 a.m. and was at the airport. But I'm home and I'm good. So yeah, back with the dogs, back with the wife, and it's nice. But yeah, so we have a bunch of news to go through because, that's...
Yeah, didn't see any of this coming after our last pod.
No, I mean, the whole thing was like, Robbie's getting time and, we think it'll be fine. It'll be good. It's a smart move. And instead, on Friday, 9 a.m. Friday morning, they dropped a press release and said that they have relieved head coach Robbie Nielsen of his duties. And assistant coach Steve Coleman will serve as the club's interim head coach, starting with Saturday's home opener against Loudoun United at Al Lang. What do we like? How are we feeling about this move? Like, what do you think? Is it a good move, bad move? Like, I know we were both kind of like, well, it's hard to tell so soon and blah, blah, blah. But now it's happened. So where are you falling on that?
Yeah. So look, I think, like I said last week, I was prepared to give him the first quarter of the season. I figured given the fact that like 8 teams make it, to the playoffs, I think you can give him a quarter of the year and I think still have a chance because USL gives you a lot of opportunity to qualify for the playoffs. And if we've learned anything over the last, 10 years or so, it's like, you don't have to be the number 1 or 2 team. It's not always the top team that wins the league. You just got to get into the dance. So I was prepared to give him the first quarter, and then that news drops, and it's just like, wow, I didn't think the front office would pull the trigger. I was genuinely surprised. But I mean, same thing I said on the post when they did the presser about it. It was like, I'm glad they were confident enough to make the change, because that's a tough thing to do. It's your home opener. Things are not ending well from last season or starting well this season. It's a tough thing to kind of draw excitement and to show that you are invested in what's happening now. And I'm happy they made the call. I mean, look, I wish all the best to Robbie. I have no issues with him. I realize things didn't maybe go according to plan for one reason or another that we may or may never find out about, and that's fine. But I wish him the best. I hope he does well whatever he does going forward. But now my support is fully behind Steve. Steve. I want to see what he's able to do. But something that I think, and I'm pretty sure you would agree on here, is like, doing this at this point in the week, it's like, what were we really going to see from Steve? What could he possibly do with that little time? And something I profess a lot of people's patience. I mean, what did you think with the announcement being the way it was?
I was shocked when I found out. It was a bit of a surprise. I thought that he was going to get at least this like first week of the homestand. I mean, like it was a lot, but I think it's a good move, a bold move. I think like the team, the club, like looked at things and it wasn't working. I know somebody said a stat of like, it was like 2 or 4 wins in like the last 20 games or something, and they were against Miami. Like, and like Cal Jennings and Leo Fernandez last year dragged this team just kicking and screaming into the playoffs. Like, it wasn't clicking. And everything I've heard for inside the club, Robbie Nielsen, great guy, class act through and through. It just, for some reason, things just weren't working. And we've seen it before in this country and in American leagues, MLS down, that coaches straight out of Europe and don't actually work. So like, it's no fault of their own. It's an adjustment. It's a different type of play, different type of player. So like, there's just things that just sometimes don't work. Like we said last week, I think we said last week, I've had a lot of conversations in last weekend. Neil Collins, again, was a rare breed. He also played, don't forget, he played in this league. He knew the travel. He knows what it takes on this team and had an idea of going into, his tenure, what he wanted to build here. And he also had a clean slate, so we can't compare this to Neil. Like, that's a separate thing. Okay, so Steve Coleman, didn't know much about him. Like you said, I don't think there was much time to implement anything, and he's got a lot to work with. I mean, Loudoun, #1 in the conference, and I think the league. Naples coming up for the Open Cup is #1 in League One. Louisville's #2 and has been our biggest rival and the most consistent team in USL in the last decade. Yeah. I don't know how you prepare for that, not being a head coach and coming in. So like you said, patience, grace for Steve. He's gonna, pick up these players. He's probably hasn't watched many of these players except for when, a little bit last year with Loudoun, but like there's been turnover, so yep. Like he's building something. We've played 4 games before Steve took over this season. So this roster is still learning each other in many ways. So it is patience. But like you said, there is 8 teams out of the 12 make it. And it's very, very early. And I think, I think this recalibrates things. I think last week when we were talking about expectations for the season, I think this making the playoffs would be a great thing at this moment. But I would like to see the culture continued, not built, because I still believe Neil did that. And there's like a Rowdies ethos that needs to continue. And I'd like to see Steve work on that.
Yeah, I'm with you, because the big thing for me is like, I mean, we had, Neil built the club. He built the character. He built the attitude that we expect from this team, and that's not for something for Steve to have to build, but it is something of an expectation that's going to be set for him, whether by force or by choice. It's something that's going to be bestowed on him. And to me, it seems like he welcomes the opportunity. He didn't seem to shy away from it. He had some comments in the post game where he recognizes, kind of the situation that he's in. There was no way that we were going to see any immediate change right now. In a day and a half, I think what he told the players was, look, I mean, just we're gonna put our best foot forward. We're gonna go out and put maximum effort and do what we can to the best of our ability. And over time, I think the expectation should be for people to, yes, patience, because I think that's the big thing here. But it's also, we're going to have to see incremental change, because he is being thrown into the fire, right, just right away. To play Loudon, who I was saying last year was a dangerous team. Watch out from last year because they are not the Loudon of previous years. This team they've got, they understand the system of play that they have. They can easily reload from the bench up front. They've got plenty of speed and power, and they look comfortable in their system. And it showed. I mean, they broke us down plenty. I mean, they were not just beating us on the inside, but on the outside. And that shows, it showed that this is a team that's been together for a while. And that's something we don't have. So I'm not surprised by the way this game went down. I think my expectation going forward is still going to be high because, look, we're the Rowdies. We have an expectation. We expect to be in the playoffs. We expect to be competing, with the best teams. Maybe that's not going to be exactly what we see right away, but there's every reason to believe that we should see changes and attitude going forward. I mean, I don't know if you want to jump into the game yet, but I definitely saw some players. I saw more effort. I saw leadership. I mean, let's just go right into it. How about Forrest Lasso finally starting after how many months has he been? Was it 9 months or something? He's been away with a knee injury.
10 and a
I mean,
half.
for him to
10 and a half.
Okay, 10 and a half months he's been away. I mean, and I mean, while there was certainly a little rust, the biggest thing that I wanted from Lasso that we need that was lacking is that leadership on the field. And I loved hearing him throughout the game. Even when I wasn't able to watch or whatever, I could still hear Forrest. And I think that's something just for me, and obviously this is our first time at home, so we don't know what it sounded like, but I feel better by having that kind of a veteran in the back line commanding the field and getting guys in place. Look, we also have some very unfortunate injuries right now. I mean, Lewis Hilton, for one. I think Nate Worthdow, Blake Bodley also. I mean, so we've got a couple guys that are down right now. We're hurting, but I saw more out of him. Campisi, who I thought as a whole, I think he had proven that he had the farthest to come, given some of the unfortunate things that he has done up to this point in the season. And I thought he had himself a very good game. So great stops at one-on-one.
Wait, hold on. I need a hot take button. Button.
Gosh. All right. Well, there's your button. But I mean, look, do you disagree though? I mean, look, Campisi had himself a good game. He has some big saves. I thought he lined it well. All right. Well, we can agree to disagree. But the point is, I thought he had himself a pretty good game. I think of a guy that had a lot to prove. I think he proved something in this game. Now, is it perfect? Does it forgive all past sins? No. But I was happy to see him make the critical saves that he needed to make, even though that one that went in near post, I get it, guys. Keeper should never let one in near post, yada, yada. I know. Look, did he kick it off again? No. Okay.
But that means the bar is in the ground, like in hell. Like,
fine. But we are, okay, Dan. Have you watched this year? I mean, come on. I mean, The bar is already pretty low. So I'm going to take
club.
the positive. Go ahead.
This is a club where goalkeeping has been elite in this league. I mean, you can go from Diego Restrepo, Matt Pickens, Cody Mizell,
Antonella.
Antonella, Evan Loro, even Ryko, who proved it last year in Vegas. Like, this team has been known for goalkeeping talent, and he's
not that. That's fair. He's not that. So meet him where he's at. All right. He's not that guy, but he's also new to this league too, is he not? So
yeah,
look, I'm trying to temper my expectations to be more realistic. And look, y'all know that I love this team, and I'm obnoxiously optimistic. I can't help that. I just am. So I'm going to take the obnoxiously optimistic take here and say, look, I thought he had himself a pretty good game. I saw things from him that I hadn't seen all season long. All right. Well, you can. Here. Hey, hot take. There you go. All right. I thought he was good. I was happy. So, all right. Well, will you give me your thoughts? Go ahead. Let's hear it.
I mean, I did not have high expectations. I didn't have high expectations. Changing managers that in the middle of the week against the top seeded team. I will, and like you said, we have some key injuries. I think losing Bodley kind of messes with our attack going forward. I did notice we were playing more of a back four because you had Castellanos and Lasso, and then Guillen and Wyke on the outside, which was a change. So there's a whole system change happening, which also throws into things, which I'm not sure I'm sold on. But we've played like a 3-5-2 ish. Don't come at me, people. Since Neil took over, basically. So it's kind of one of those things that now we have Does Coleman see something with the players we have and that are available that warrants that? Is this something he wants to switch to? Do our existing players fit into that? Like, I love Aaron Guillen. I don't know if he still has the legs and the desire to be playing like a left wing back, you know,
He
a
was
center
asked a
back.
lot, you're right.
So, that's a change. And like, so there's mental things that are going to change. There's physical things that are going to change as like as Coleman figures things out on his style, philosophy, goals going forward. I think, we, like I said last week, and Matt and Neil has always said 10 games. So I think maybe if we give Coleman 10 games, if he's still the manager, if they're not doing a search, I have no idea. All the comments in the press release seemed like, it's kind of like we're going to stick with him for a bit. But I'm trying to read tea leaves. I don't know. We'll find out. Who knows? They might hire a coach on Wednesday or Thursday or Friday after recording this, because that's what they do to us. So it's one of those things that, like, I do seeing Leo come back in from injury finally again. Poor guy can't stay healthy right now. Having him maybe play as a free floating 10 might help, like doing what he does, and the Samba man doing his thing. I know there's somebody else that was coming back from injury. We had a couple people come back from injuries. And like you said, key ones, Bodily, Moon, Nate Worth is, so like, there's a lot of good talent coming back or sideline. Lewis Hilton being key, like, this apartment, this household is big Lewis Hilton fans. So yeah, like those things matter. The talent we're lacking. So it's, it does feel weirdly reminiscent of Neil taking over. Big injuries, shaky foundations, things just not working. I think the morale's a little better this time around. Like, I think morale was in the toilet under Stu. But I liked some things, like you said, Forrest Lasso being back after 10 and a half months and finally playing, 90 and getting there was good. Seeing Leo back. Woob's goal, our goal, was great movement. So like, and that duo is clicking, like, and we keep that. And if we can get one or two other options, Leo playing, 70, 80 minutes, 60, 70 minutes to create, more goals will come. I do think, and this isn't saying anything about Robbie, or well, maybe a little bit, or Coleman. I do think this club is lacking attacking ability. Like, I don't know if we don't have a finisher. Like Arteaga, I don't want to give up on or say he's bad, because he can score. We've seen it, but like his like conversion rate is not great. And, we need to pick that up. Woobs, I don't want to rely on him. He's talented. He's great. He's scored, I think, almost all our goals, but he's alone. So like, if he does too good, he's out. You know what I mean? Like, that's a possibility. We saw it, like New England doing it to us with Ryan Spalding. He like lit up the league and they immediately yanked him back. And we were like, so, don't want to rely on Woobs. So like, little worried. I'd like to see, maybe some attacking talent come in somewhere along the line.
Yeah,
maybe
agreed.
Leo can help with it. And I think if anybody I was giving you a little crap for your little hot take about Campisi, but if anybody can get a goalkeeper on the level, it's Stuart Dobson. We've seen, like, the club may have found great goalkeeping talent, but the constant is Stuart Dobson, Dabo has been here since forever, it feels like, since Rongan, I believe, and has just been the steady hand on the ship. It's like, other than like, Ryan Helfrich and Nico Castillo, like, I think Dabo is the longest tenured person here. I mean, maybe you, but you don't really count.
No. Well, I would say Jeff Parkinson. He's actually been there longer than I think all of them.
Yeah, oh, probably. Yeah, so like,
because they're the old baseball commission. So even before the Rowdies showed up.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So he's got the longest. But I mean, yeah, to your point, you're right. No, and like I'd like to see more striking talent too. We are lacking the department. I think the one thing that scares me with our attacking right now is we seem very one dimensional, and I don't see that typical movement that we are familiar with pulling midfielders and defenders out of position. I didn't see any of that. I mean, basically you watch this game and it's either Bassett or Nyangaberi getting down the line and putting the ball into the middle, and it's just like, I'm sorry,
it doesn't
Campbell. Work. Yes, yeah. I mean, and it's like, I mean, okay, Manu can get out for some of those, but like when you allow a team to make you one dimensional, it makes you defend. It makes it super easy to defend you and attack you, because then you get stretched out, and then they can burn you, right the other way, which They did. I mean, one of the things I noticed this game that bothered me is where are the passing through the lines? Where are the movement from McPherson, Van Kiezel, or even Bassett and Neil Gaberi when they pull into the middle, or Arteaga, pulling these defenders away and opening space in the middle of the field to allow ourselves levels of attack. I didn't see any of that, and I mean, and that I don't think that I attribute that to the current standing of the team. That's been our problem. I feel like since Robbie took over, is we feel very flat. I mean, we move the ball back and forth, but I don't see the levels of play. I'm used to seeing Forrest Lasso find an Arteaga on a deep pass, which forces the team to open up and just basically take a breath and be like, oh crap. And our movement's very stagnant right now.
Yeah, I do think Ollie Bassett has been pretty good, like one of our most active midfielders. And I know he's hurt now, but getting Lewis Hilton out there as well to complement that movement. And I mean, also like losing Cal Jennings lost a dimension because the way that little man can skirt behind a line with a deep, like Lewis Hilton could find him, or Lasso can get him back behind the line, and it was great. And we're just not having that. I do think Arteaga and Woobs play similar styles and movement is the same, so the defenders aren't getting pulled in. Okay, sorry about that. Dogs yet again. So I think the movement is the same. There's nobody pulling defenders away, like you said. And, like we don't also, before when we were crossing, even under Neil, we had JJ Williams that could go up again. We had a typical number 9 and somebody to play off them, if like Seba Gonzati, or, like when we had Steven Dos Santos, like we had a prototypical number 9 and then somebody to like a 7 to play off of them or something like so we don't have that. Like Arteaga and Woobs can't get up like, a Steven Dos Santos or something. So there needs to be adjustments. I am not sold fully on McPherson. Like he's okay. I feel like he's redundant in our, he's great now that Lewis is out, but I think Lewis actually brings a little bit more to the game. I think he's a little bit more gritty. He's a little bit more energetic out there. We just need one, like maybe Leo is that piece, that creative piece to unlock defenses because he is good at that, but we are missing that again. And I really have deja vu from like the first few years of doing this podcast. It felt like, with Rongan and Stu, it was back to goal when they got a ball and having to turn, and then defenders were already on them and there was no movement, and like it was out. For a while there was that like Stu Campbell get to the corner, like the top of the 18 and cross it in, like, and it looked like players were robotic because they would stop, look, and just put it in no matter what, even if nobody was there. And it did feel like that under Robbie at times.
Yeah, and I mean, this lineup felt very defensive to me. Now, I don't know if that was on purpose or just because of who's available right now. But I mean, even going to a 4-back with Van Kiezel, who I view as more of a defensive player, I kind of this lineup didn't make a ton of sense to me. And I get it. I get that we're injured, we're light right now. Maybe it's something that he knew coming into this game what Loudon was going to do. Maybe it was to try and stifle that movement that they have up top. I'm not sure. But I never felt like we really had it all going together. But all that to say, for the first 69 minutes, look, we held them to no goal. I mean, until they got a soft penalty. And I mean, look, it's a penalty regardless. And look, soft or not, guys, this point drives me insane with fans because I get it. Every penalty's soft when it's against your team. But when you put your hand on a player in the box, you give the referee a chance to make a call. And I'm sorry, but Guillen has been in this league long enough. He's played long enough. He knows. He knew exactly what he was doing. And the striker did exactly what he had to do to get the call. You can't let him get you on the inside and then get a step on you and then expect to get that, not to have that call happen. It just, soft or not, and it was soft, you still can't give the ref a chance to make that call.
So I have two thoughts on this in Pep Guardiola. Two. One, I think it was very soft. I don't know if that ref that night calls that at midfield, and if he doesn't call it at midfield, you can't call it in the box. That is like one of my. But to go back to a previous conversation that we've had many a times on this show and whatever, as Zach Steinberger said on a pregame show, be better than the worst ref. Like, it is the USL. We are second division. We're going to get second, third, and fourth division referees calling this game. There's no VAR. It's gonna happen. You just play through it and just score more goals. Like at the end of the day, my friend Gareth and I have always said, playing like watching baseball, when somebody hits like this first run of the game, you're gonna need one to win at least. So like you're gonna have to score at least a goal no matter what. And this team should be capable of scoring more than one goal, even though we have, really, like, we've been struggling. But, like at home, it shouldn't be hard, but be better than the worst ref. We know what we're getting with pro. Like, we can't blame referees for everything. And like, yes, I disagree with the call. 100%. Stephen Cundiff, as usual, disagrees with me, said it was an absolute pen. We don't listen to him. He's a cop. I'm just kidding. I love you, Stephen. But I no matter who that call would, if it was for us, I would be like, that was soft, that was BS. Loudon has a right to feel aggrieved. I'll take it, and that's the way I think fans that like Loudon fans should feel. But again, be better than the worst ref. Move on. It's not why we lost. It's not like it. It's just you hope it balances out in the course of the season. Who knows? It's USL. Just keep on trucking, and let's win next week or on Saturday against Louisville. Like, learn from it. It happens. I don't really. Wednesday's Open Cup. You know how I feel about that.
That's true. What are we talking about? Anyways, so look, I'm not going statsy here because that's not my style. But like the first 20 minutes, look, Loudon I think imposed their will pretty heavily. But to my earlier point, hot take, Campisi did well, made some great saves on the line. I thought the team was flexible, but at the same time did well at stifling the attacks, because they got some great chances off, and it came to some good stops. Then I think after the first like 20 minutes or so, like the team settled into the game, I thought, pretty well. I mean, there were moments in this game where I thought we were doing well. I thought we did play some attractive soccer. I thought there was some fresh energy, which typically happens after coaching change. I mean, that's pretty common. I mean, right? I think we all can agree that typically with a coaching change, it's because something isn't going right, and the guys are happy to kind of take a breath of fresh air and start anew, right? So there was a fresh energy out there, and even going into the second half, I thought the team was showing well. I mean, even up until that penalty, I mean, I felt like we still gave ourselves a really good chance to do something. It's just that final third, man, we haven't quite figured out how to be consistent and how to take chances. Now, one gripe I've always had, and this goes back to even the Stu Campbell days, is when things aren't going right, you're not able to get in the box. What is something that we're taught even when we're young kids? Just shoot the ball. Shoot. Just take shots. Start shooting from outside the 18. I mean, Arteaga had a chance. I forget what the minute was. Man, he put his laces through the ball, and it was an absolute laser. Now, did it go wide a little bit? Sure. But it makes the other team react, and what that does is that forces him to step up. And when the defender steps up because he's afraid that shot might come, what happens? It causes him to be out of position. Then what do you do after that? You move another player into that spot. I mean, it's like, start taking chances, make them fear that, okay, you're right, you're stopping us, we can't get in the box. So start taking chances, start peppering the net. I don't know that we did anything other than the goal to give, was that Farrow or whatever the other goalkeeper's name was? I don't know. We gave him anything to fear or worry about at all in that game. I mean, the goal was the only shot really that stands out.
There was one other shot attempt that he made a really, really good save on that should have been a goal.
You're right. There were two really good reactionary saves on the line.
Yeah.
Both halves.
Yeah.
You're right.
So
one was on Passy. Yeah, one was on Nyangabiri, and the other one, I forget who it was.
Yeah.
Actually, it might have both been Nyangabiri. Now that I think about it. I think
so.
But you're right.
I am a hockey guy first, and I've said this for years. Shoot, see what happens. Deflections happen. Soccer's one of the craziest sports for deflections. And also, it's USL. Keepers are going to make a mistake. And if you just shoot from distance and put your laces through and put it on frame, weird stuff is going to happen. Like, it's like we said, you're struggling, and Bassett has been good early this season at ripping them from distance. And I think if we get Lewis Hilton back healthy, let him rip from distance. He's got a foot that he never wants to use, but like let him just take some rips. And like you said, it'll cause defenders to step up. It opens up space because now they're also thinking like with Lewis Hilton, I know he's gonna as a defender, I know he's more than likely going to pass. I'm gonna sit back and like not fear that shot. And like Bassett, I said, he's been pretty good about it. But I think, I'm all for it. I want you like clog the box and rip them and let them deflect and bounce and headers and, crazy stuff happens. But you got to make your own luck. And we're just not creating anything in that final third. And it's frustrating, I'm sure, for the guys and definitely for us as fans. But so on that note, I think I know, but who is your like man of the match here?
Hot take, fellas. It is going to be Campisi. Bravo to that man. I don't care that he wasn't perfect. I don't care that he should have not let the ball in the near post. I can hear y'all chatting out there right now. I don't care. It's my choice. I'm taking Campisi. I thought he had himself a much better game. I finally saw life out of him, and I saw a defense that trusted their keeper, which, let me tell you what, as somebody who played defense, if you can't trust your keeper, it changes the way you play. And this time, you could see that even when they got beat behind, there was trust that Campisi would come with a save. And guess what? He usually did. He did a very good job of it. So he is my man of the match for this one.
What about you? I do not agree, but I'm going to go with Ollie Bassett. Woobs could get it, goal scorer. Like, hate giving goal scorers man of the match strictly for goals. Like, Fatmob and stuff is like a goal rates like brings up your rating like 4 points, and no,
it's garbage. Yeah,
it underrates defenders and midfielders, and I hate it. So I will. Ollie Bassett is my man of the match on that one. It's hard. Leo coming back was like my bright spot of the game. I think that was huge. And Lasso playing 90. Those are my two big bright spots. Regardless,
in the game.
Yeah, and getting Lasso, we can dive into that a little later. But screw it. We're getting Lasso 90 minutes for the first time in a year and a half. Like everybody, there's a lot of questions we'll get to, like listener. Like questions about Forrest, why hasn't he been starting? The dude tore his ACL 10 and a half months ago and hasn't played, more than like 20 minutes of soccer then. And there's no way you're going to start as a center back without getting minutes. Let's ease him back in.
Well, yeah, and look, he talked about this in the post game, and I don't know if it got posted or if it was said publicly, but it was brought up in the post game, and he said even there, he's like, even he had to question, the 48 hours of, am I done playing? Like, is this the end for me? Because he is a veteran. He's an older guy. I think he said he's been 11 or so years, as a professional, and those are legitimate fears that a guy has as he get older. Will the team even want me to come back? Will the team even bring me back? Will I have another chance? When I come back, will I even be able to do what I was doing before? I mean, these are all valid questions. And by the way, shout out to Eureka for shooting me a bunch of the post game stuff. I appreciate you, buddy. I mean, it's bigger than him just playing 90. It's the fact that 10 and a half months ago, he didn't know if he was going to play again professionally, and even though he moved past that emotion pretty quick, as he said, that's still, that's a big thing. And I thought he had himself a damn good game. Like I said earlier in the pod, I mean, having a veteran of his stature out there commanding the field, getting on players, moving them into position is huge. I mean, I don't know. I'm pretty sure you saw this. We were there at the end of the game, but he pulled everybody into the middle of the field at the end of the game. And I mean, coaches, players, everyone right to the middle of the field as soon as the whistle blew, and he talked to everyone. For me, that's a big thing. I mean, I don't know what was said. Maybe we'll find out. Maybe we won't. But I'd like to think that it was him basically doing what he's supposed to do, why he's here, and reminding the players what they're doing this for and what it's all about. And to me, that was awesome. And to your other point with Leo, yeah, man, Leo, that man is as much Rowdies as anybody else in Rowdy lore. He's a wonderful guy, just an incredible player. He's given everything to this club, and we are lucky to have him. And I'm with you, man. If there's anybody who we need to get healthy and cause problems for other teams, it's Leo Fernandez. Much in the same way that Lucky was an absolute problem off the bench, there's every reason to believe that Leo can be that and more, because I think he's got more minutes in him. And I hope that the plan is to get him in there more than 20 minutes right now, because I think that's kind of what he was up to at this point.
Yeah, I think Leo, especially, if we can get him to 50, 60 minutes, like he should be our starter. Like, and I'm not just saying that. I know he's got a lot of minutes, and he's not young anymore. But 50, 60 minutes out of him you can't like. And I want to see him where he was going to be before his Achilles injury of like unchained. Like Neil Collins finally stopped making him a wingback, gave him that freedom and that creative role as a 10, and just was like letting Leo unleashed. And we saw what he was doing. He was popping up in places, creating, scoring. Like it was amazing. It was so beautiful to watch it, poetry, emotion. And then, injuries, and he's just been trying to get back. And I hope we get him back there. But okay, enough about that one. That loss has us 2 places above the bottom of Miami and Hartford. We got 3 points, 1 win, 4 losses. Loudoun's still sitting pretty up top with 5 wins, 1 loss, 15 points. Louisville right behind them with 3 wins, 2 draws, so 11 points and a game in hand. And then Detroit, Charleston, North Carolina, Pittsburgh, Indy, Birmingham, and Birmingham round out the playoff spots. But we're only 2 points out of a quote-unquote playoff spot if you care 5 matches into a season. I think the craziest thing for me, I hate going through standings. I don't really care about the rest of the league. They can all suck butts. But Hartford, despite making the final last year, it hasn't won or draw or anything. They are on 0 points.
I mean, it's like anything can happen. It's so early. Look, let's not discredit the fact starting your season 4 games away is brutal. I mean, it's brutal. All right. I mean, come on. Let's not beat around the bush here. I mean, I'm not saying that we shouldn't have drawn more points than we did, but come on. I mean, guys, let's give them a chance to get into this. I mean, I forget who it was, but I forget who it was last year, but I mean, start off, gosh, they were down like 11th or something, moved all the way up into 7th or 6th. I mean, look, this team has got the talent to move up. I have every reason to believe that this team will. And I have every belief that the coaching will find a way to get the best out of these guys and move them in the right direction. It's going to happen. But
so let me ask you this.
Okay.
General thing. In this league especially, home games are important. So the top 4 finishing for the playoffs is probably the most important thing you can do to increase your chances. Agreed. Is there confident, like the thing here is, do we have confidence that this club can find its winning ways on the road again? Because if not, like, sure, moving up. I mean, don't get me, okay. I need to also preface this with, as I said earlier, I think making the playoffs is the I don't even think like making the Eastern Conference final, like, or the USL final should be realistic. If it happens, I am rooting for it. I am happy. I am going to be over the moon. But like making the playoffs, maybe we'll shoot higher and say a home playoff game. So it would be ideal. I don't know if that's possible. We're giving ourselves a very slow start, but we've had something similar with Neil a couple years ago. I think my last year doing the show, and we obviously made a run, and I think we almost finished. We were in a neck and neck battle for number 1 seed, I think, or we came in second to Louisville, something like that. It was crazy. So it is possible. But do we have faith that like we're going to rediscover? Because the schedule is nuts. It is bonkers. After this like 5-week homestand, we're back on the road for like 5 weeks, and it's just streaks of home and away. So like it's a good playoff test. If we can figure out how to win on the road again, it's good. But do you think that's possible?
I think, first off, USL did not do us any favors with the schedule this year. Good Lord. I wasn't going to mention it, but since you brought it up, I'm going to say it. What were you guys on when you said, that looks good, let's do that? Because, I mean, guys, I could come up with a better schedule then. And I'm an idiot, okay? So just saying.
No arguments here.
To your point, I think I have to reset my expectations. With Robbie leaving, I think I need to reset my expectations. I need to be, if I'm being genuine, give Steve Coleman a chance to just even implement any sign or any semblance of change. I think to make a guess about where we'll be, I think it's unrealistic because we don't know anything. That team that just played is not the Steve Coleman team we're going to see in 5 weeks. and hopefully not the team we're going to see in
Hopefully.
10 weeks. I mean,
Hopefully.
it would be very disingenuous for me to say, oh, we're going to do this because I believe. No, I don't know what I believe. I don't know because I don't know what to expect from him. We don't. I mean, he hasn't had a chance to even a game plan or anything. So I want the first quarter of the season to happen. By then, we should start seeing systems of play. We should start seeing consistent movement of the ball. We should start seeing consistent players on the field. Like there are certain things that we should. Then we can start formulating. Okay, what is the consistency and how is it playing out? Then I think that's a fair chance for us to say, okay, I expect to be here. But I don't think we can do that yet.
Do you? So I'm gonna drop a little curse, but with an interim coach this early, it's hard from our perspective, from fan perspective, of to know what to expect. Is there going to be a coach search? Are they going to hire somebody by midseason, or is Steve Coleman your guy for the year? Like I need to for my expectations, I need to know if I want the Rowdies to shit or get off the pot, right? Like I want them to either find a new coach ASAP or come out and say like he's got the interim, but this is kind of like an audition to see if he goes forward or where we're going to go, because it's going to be hard to implement changes, culture, and all of this if he also knows that he's like here for 4 weeks and then we're going to somehow like bring Nicky Law back to coach for the rest of the season. You know what I mean? Like if there's no and that might be a conversation, you know, Silverman, Ald, and the Rays have had with Steve Coleman, and they said, "Look, this is your audition." But for us on the outside, it's hard to say, and I would like to know. But I think you're right. I do think they would have said in that statement that like we are now searching for a new coach. They were very like we have trust in this organization. You know, it seemed very behind Steve Coleman to solve the issue. So I think this is his audition on whether or not that interim tag comes off later. But I don't know. I am not a fly on the wall, unfortunately. Maybe I should have somehow like placed a few bugs in the locker rooms there to find out what's going on. But yeah,
I would have asked to take all that. No. Yeah. No, I'm with you here. And I, you know, it's tough, right? Interim coaches rarely get hired as head coaches. I mean, they're interim for a reason. And we talked about that. So if you're Steve Coleman, which I think he understands the weight of the club, he recognizes this is, you know, 50th anniversary. He doesn't come into this with even if he was still the assistant coach, he understands the club that he's with and the expectation that's been set here. So I fully expect him to give us his best effort and do what he can until he's basically told otherwise, because he has nothing to lose by buying in, right? I mean, he I don't know how long his contract was for, but I mean, he was only expecting to be an assistant coach. Now he's a head coach. So, I mean, really, he's already, you know, outside of what he was originally hired to do. So at this point, I would think that if I'm him, it's, you know what, I'm going to go all in. I'm going to take the best of what I have. I'm going to use the tools that we have here. We're going to move Jan Ekra up into the new assistant coach position, which, by the way, awesome for Jan. And for those that don't know Jan, how dare you? Because he is also amazing and former Rowdy and just an awesome guy. But yeah, I think for Coleman, I like to see him get the year. I mean, look, who are you going to find coaching wise at this point in the season? I mean, if you are a coach worth your weight in salt, I mean, you've probably already been picked up or selected by somebody. No, I mean, who are you going to find?
Birmingham fired their coach. I wouldn't mind. I think somebody said like John Hackworth was at the game. I think that's who they said. I don't remember. Somebody messaged me. So there are people available if you want them, but
do we want to recycle coaches again, or do we want to take a chance on somebody new?
I see. That's not my call. I don't mind at this point taking somebody new if Steve doesn't work out, hiring him almost immediately in the offseason to let him build a roster.
Yes.
Yeah. I also, you know, like, I know from watching the Tampa Bay Rays organization from 2006, 2007 on, whenever like Stu bought the team in this like front office, they love to promote from within. That is their MO. It always has been. So I don't really see them going outside. Like finding Robbie was probably like, let's see how this works, and then, you know, maybe they stick with Steve if they see what they want to see and or like what they see. So yeah, I do think so. And like we said, I'm going to jump right into a preview. previews. I know nothing about FC Naples. They're they're a USL League One team, right? But I think the highlight they are sitting number 1 in their league. We are traveling the 2 extra hours down to Naples for Steve Coleman's U.S. Open Cup debut. But I think the coolest storyline is 2 Fernandez brothers are facing off for the first time professionally. If you don't know, Gustavo Fernandez, Leo's little brother, Gustavo, sorry, little brother is playing for Naples, and Leo obviously for us. So that's a great storyline to watch. Hopefully they do get minutes against each other, and we love seeing sibling rivalries. And then after that, we play Louisville at Al Lang. Louisville, like I said, sitting second place, 3 wins, 2 draws. I know Charleston is our geographic rival, and there's now they have Cal Jennings and the former team president, Lee Cohen's there, and we have the no quarter derby. Like, there's fan stuff. Louisville is in my head our biggest rival, and
Agreed.
in 3-4 years, it was like Manchester United and Liverpool at their peaks, going against each other for titles and whatever. And now it kind of feels like we're Manchester United and we suck, and Liverpool's still up top. And I hate to make that comparison because Liverpool is my heart and soul. But I mean, it's kind of where we are. We've fallen off our perch a little bit.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, fair comparison. And I'm with you. Louisville will forever be the team that because look, who we had our big games against over the last 5 years. Louisville is there every single time.
The M. Kosana miracle, that Eastern Conference final was the best sporting event I've ever been to. And I saw the light. I was in the building when the Lightning won their last Stanley Cup. And still, that Eastern Conference final against Louisville, best sporting event of my life. I have to say best sporting event. I can't say moment because my wife's behind me. But when she's not here, it is the best moment of my life.
Agreed. And I was there at your wedding too, and I agree.
Yeah. Ben said he was at our wedding and he agrees.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. No, I'm with you. It was just as a sporting fan, as a sports fan in general. I mean, there's plenty of sports that I don't follow, right? But I love live sports. I love live music. There is an energy that is created when you go to anything live. I mean, to hockey, I've been to playoff hockey games, but I've never been to a final that we've won. But I mean, there's an energy about it, and I'm with you. I mean, I've seen some pretty incredible games. That was the most amazing emotional roller coaster, crazy game I've ever experienced as well. And from that day forward, it'll always be Louisville. I mean, anyone who's listened to the podcast the last few years knows I despise, hate, loathe. I want to set on fire everything that is Charleston. Okay, I don't like them at all, but I also don't care about them enough to say they're a rival because they haven't done what Louisville's done. Because Louisville has been the standard of the league. And until they can do that and prove that they're the one that have to be knocked down off the top of the perch, ain't going to happen. So, gotta just give Louisville props.
Yeah, I mean, but it's true. They are probably the most consistent club in USL. They have that gorgeous stadium. They have cycled through players and coaches and have just maintained a level of stability and success that is unheard of in lower divisions. I mean, we had that pretty much with Neil, but Neil has left, and it shows how hard it is to do what they do with coaches cycling in and out and maintaining that level. It is so hard in 100%. Lower league soccer, and maybe Robbie's the hiccup, and Steve Coleman rights the ship quite quickly. We'll see. He's headed into, we keep saying, into the grinder immediately with these 3 matches, and before he can even catch his breath. So, let's see. Let's hope for improvement. Maybe Naples gives us a chance to sort some players, sort some stuff, experiment a little, because, it's the Open Cup. Nobody actually cares about the Open Cup. If you're on Twitter saying you care about the Open Cup, you don't care about the Open Cup. The Jaeger Cup, which is a better idea. And so, bring it. Screw the Open Cup. Nobody cares. It is on CBS. It's on Paramount Plus and CBS Golazo network. So our game.
Definitely not watching it.
Yeah, So
yeah, I definitely don't care. I don't subscribe to that stuff.
But
I'm gonna watch it. Everyone calm down.
I'm going to. Maybe if we're feeling saucy, we can do an Open Cup recap, half-hour show or something if you want. We'll see. We'll talk about that off air.
Tell me how it went. I'll just watch the extended highlights on YouTube. It'll be fine.
Yeah, here's a memory from back in the day. I think it was under Rongen. It was our first full year covering this club, and there was a website called Rabble, Rabble, and they allowed you to do alternate commentary for a match you were watching. People would just like watch the stream through your thing with your commentary. And Matt and I were like, awesome, let's go to the Rowdy. We talked to the Rowdies down in the club, and we were going to do a U.S. Open Cup stream. Thomas Rongen against Pittsburgh Riverhounds in Pittsburgh. And it was like the opening for, I think it was the grand opening for the Rowdies then, and everybody was there. It was packed house. Oh, no, it wasn't that. That was the first game of the season. Sorry. That was a whole other disaster. We were doing Rabble and nothing worked because the Open Cup was so boring. So boring. Matt and I are trying to do commentary, and we're like, there's nothing happening. And it was like one of the worst Rowdies performances I've ever seen. And like, I think that's why I hate the Open Cup. We lost to Pittsburgh. It was boring. And I was just like, what is this stupid cup? Like, Open Cup? I don't care. This means nothing. Who is a Riverhound? What is a Riverhound? Get out of it. And anyway, so I'm not going to do that. We're not going to do any kind of commentary for this. Maybe I'll live tweet some stuff on the sub pod on Blue Sky, but like, I don't.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm gonna watch the game because I want to see what the team does. I'm more invested now that Steve Coleman has taken over, and I'm curious because even with as good as the Naples team is, and look, let's not beat around the bush here. They have a very talented team. Yes, they are a League One team. I get that, but they have a very talented team in Naples. This is going to be a tough game. I mean, even though we've got plenty of veterans and guys that, I mean, quite frankly, we should walk on this team. These are the thing about Open Cups and tournaments. I mean, anything can happen in these games. I mean, that's why they call them cup sets. I mean, there's a whole name for it for a reason, right? I mean, these things happen. I mean, while I've never been a big fan of the Open Cup. I haven't. It's not for me. It's fine if you love it. If your name is Stephen Cundiff and it's your whole life, I get it. But it's not me. But I will watch because I am curious to see what the team will do. And I hope to see some improvement because if there was a chance to do some things, it's going to be against the Louisville. Because quite frankly, I mean, I'm looking straight into Louisville because that's where my mind is. That's where my concern really pops up because they are going to be a tough team. They're going to come in here. They don't care that we just fired our coach. They don't care that we're sitting bottom of the league. They don't care, but they care about themselves. They care about winning another game, getting 3 more points on the board and getting themselves to the top of the division because that is what they do. So they're going to come in here like a freight train, and it's going to be interesting to see how we respond from this game going into that one. I have my worries. I have my concerns. I mean, it's Louisville, like we said. I mean, these guys, I mean, are our rival. I don't care what anyone else says. I mean, I hope I see the energy level step up another step from where it was. But I believe it will. But I mean, who knows, right? I mean, anything's possible.
Luckily Naples is 2 hours away, so it's not like an extended road trip in the middle of, back-to-back home games. I do think, I think Naples, I don't have obviously we quote-unquote should win. We're a level above them, blah, 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 blah. I would rather see Steve Coleman treat it like a scrimmage, like a preseason game. Yeah. Where he experiments, gets different players' looks, and tries to, impose his philosophy a bit more. Granted, it's still only a week after, taking over, so I don't expect much. Yes. Maybe the other, again, I'm always of two minds on these things because, it's either that, it needs to be hard, either experiment and play and not care about the result, or go full 90, balls to the wall to get this club some confidence and going forward into Louisville without jeopardizing the starters and the talent we needed to beat Louisville. So maybe you go hard for 6. That's why I said treat it like a preseason scrimmage. Go 60, experiment, put what you want in there, and then after 60, pull off your talent, throw on, not that there's not that many drop-offs in positions. I'm not trying to say we have an A team, B team, C team. We don't. At this level, we have a kind of small roster, drop-off in talent. But get the fresh guys that that haven't started, get them minutes, get them playing time, whatever. Maybe don't risk Forrest Lasso in this game, or give him 60 or 30 or something like that, or rest him completely. If I don't see Forrest on Wednesday, I don't care. He hasn't played. I would actually be shocked if he starts. I would kind of be mad a little bit.
Well, he's a competitor. He's going to want to start. You know that.
Yes, and that's where Andrew and the medical team comes in and say, "Hey, you just played a full 90 for the first time in a year. You're not 27 anymore. take a breather, sit here, be ready for the big challenge, Louisville. We need to make sure you're healthy for that. And I think, there's a part of Forrest that'll get it. Louisville, yeah, I think that's, maybe mess around Wednesday to come up with your game plan for Louisville. Normally, I would say go for it. It's a lower league team. We should have fun. We should win. So go for it. But I really think it needs to be more of an experimentation lab and as a scrimmage more than a competitive Open Cup game. If we can still do a double, we can still win the Jägermeister Cup or whatever, which I just learned is like the trophy is a plate they got from them engraved at the mall or something like that. And like it's anyway. Hopefully they upgrade the Jägermeister Cup. And, make it a cup. Pour a bunch of Jaeger in there, fill it with Red Bull, and drop a Jaeger in there and let them chug. Like turn into a giant Jaeger bomb.
Oh, I'm in. Shoot, now I want to go.
Yeah, if we make the Jaeger Cup final, I don't know where the Jaeger Cup final will be if we have hosting, like if we would have hosting rights or whatever. But I will go to go to the Jaeger Cup final, or I'll go to a bar and I will make sure I do a Jaeger bomb if we win, and I will live stream Jaeger bombs that night. And I think my wife is glaring at me. Yeah,
that's just a normal look at you.
Yeah, no, she's giving me the She's like, you're back for 2 weeks and you're making bets. So
this shows a bad influence on you.
Yeah. Now you're making soccer bets. This is how you ended up with a bad tattoo, and now you're going to be doing Jaeger bombs.
Well, look, Jaeger bombs or tattoos, which ones do you want? I'm just saying. I mean, Jaeger bomb, you can drink enough water to get past that. Tattoos last forever.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. Yeah, like it's not like I said if they win the Jaeger Cup, I will get like the Jaeger logo tattooed on me. She just
listeners, should we make a Jaeger tattoo? What do you think? Put in the comments if you think Dan should get a Jaeger tattoo if we win.
You guys have to argue with the lawyer if you want me to get a Jaeger tattoo. You don't put it in the comments. Just talk to the lawyer.
To be fair, since there's actually two since there's two guys here that now have, I see the finger in the background waving. I get it. She's either listening to music or saying, "Don't do it."
No, she's saying, "Don't do it."
I know Casey well enough to know these things. Love you, but as we are now we both have tattoos. I will take on any tattoos this year. This will be I will happily take on any poor decisions we make in the tattoo department. Don't worry, guys. I'm sure we'll come up with something bad before the end of the season. But back to the point here. I mean, I think if Steve Coleman had been in charge at the beginning of the season, I would say for the Open Cup, I would want to see him go for it. But the circumstances call for something different. And I get there are that sect of fans that love the Open Cup, and that's great. I get it. It's a long-standing tournament in the United States. I get it that we had to take a year off, blah, blah, blah. But I understand people's passion for it. I do, and I respect that. But this team is in a unique position. I think we need to take a look at what's most important. Do we care about an Open Cup run? Or do we care about focusing on the league, which is what we're, which is our bread and butter? And to me, I mean, I would rather us duck out of this Open Cup, focus our efforts on to Saturday in Louisville, and moving our team forward throughout the remainder of the season. Because to your point, whether or not we hold on to Steve for the whole season or we're out looking for another coach, the focus has to be on getting to the Eastern Conference Championship and then to the final. That's where we need to be shooting for. And the Open Cup is going to do none of that for us. If anything, it's a one more chance to take us away from our focus. And that's, to me, like I feel like where we need to be right now. And that's just me.
You sound too much like me over the years. That is what I've been saying forever. But I think it's a chance to tinker. So yeah, I think we're in agreement. Open Cup is a little there. But all right, so we had some listener questions. Let's jump into that. And I think I'm going to package some of these. I think we answered Jonathan Silva's Nate Worth question. I don't really have a full injury update on Bodley or Hilton or Nate, but they're just out. I'll see what we can do. We answered Charles Gallagher's Lasso thing. And John Silva asked thoughts on the 2025 Ralph's Mob jersey. I saw quite a few people wearing them. They are gorgeous. I love them. Yes. So I think you should buy one if you can. I know they were taking mostly pre-orders. I don't know if they're still available, but you should reach out to Ralph's Mob and find out because they are pretty. And the Mob and the Casuals brought it. I will say that to go back to the game. The atmosphere was great. It was fun. You can tell they were waiting 7 months to come back. But anyway, and then he asked, is Manu Arteaga trying too hard? Is he I guess to use a baseball term, choking up on the bat? What was the struggles there? What do you think?
Well, so I had somebody else brings up to me who's like, he's a striker. He should be scoring goals. We're like, Okay, yeah, I get that, but is that what he's being coached to do? Is he supposed to be our point man and holding with his back to the net, or is he supposed to be another striker? I don't know that he's supposed to be a striker. I think he's supposed to be more of the point man that we play off of than the guy getting him behind the back line and taking shots. I think that's what Woobens is for. I think that's the expectation of our wingbacks as well. Like I don't know that's what he's being coached to do. Has he played up to the standard that I expected from him this year? No, but when the whole team around you is not really clicking, sometimes you fall back into your basic functions of what you're being asked to do, which is be up top, be the man you can play off of, be available as an outlet for your midfielders, and get it outside or get it wide or look for the overlap. And so, without really knowing what he's being told to do in the system, from Robbie now into Steve, I mean, it's a tough call. No, he hasn't played as well as I had hoped, but at the same time, I don't know what he's being coached to do.
I think the closest comparison we have to him, like his style, was Seba Gunzati. Like, I'm not saying they're like for like. I think style is the same, and I think they both have, believe it or not, a lower conversion rate percentage than what it felt like. Seba had a pretty low conversion rate. We just produced so many chances that and I think we're just not giving Arteaga the volume of chances created to convert. Woobens has been fantastic at converting his chances. So, but again, we don't know what he's asked to be doing. And, you know, you and I both have mentioned previously that we would like to see some attacking talent brought in. And John Silva and Michael Morrow on Blue Sky have asked, should we recall Christian Ortiz from Columbus Crew 2 to bolster our attack? I know he's been scoring a couple games there. Should we cut his loan short and bring him back into the fold?
That's so tough. We've never really been in that position before, have we? To recall a player in that situation. Oof.
While you're thinking, I'm going to say no, because I still don't think I don't think he gets the minutes. And I think developing him and giving him the chance in Columbus to develop and coach because like MLS Pro Next or Next Pro or whatever that stupid font says, it is a youth league. Yeah, sure, there's a couple independent teams there for some ungodly reason, but I really think it is a development league for these kids to grow and to get experience. And maybe at the end of the year, we reassess where Christian Ortiz is at for us. But I don't think he is going to be the answer because, like, I mean, he's 18? Is he 18 yet? I don't remember his age. He's young.
That's a good question. He's young, yeah. He's still a teenager.
Right. And going against somebody the size of Forrest Lasso? No. When I was that age, I was like 110 pounds and like 5'10". Like Forrest Lasso would use me as a toothpick. Like, and Christian Ortiz still hasn't fully filled out. Like, he's still a child. Give him another year or two and let's see, and we'll reassess. But I don't think he's the answer just yet. If we get any other, didn't we have a striker just come back from injury Saturday? Who else came in? It was, why don't I see this?
I'm drawing a blank. I'm still thinking about the Christian Ortiz.
I know your brain. I'm asking too much of your brain right now to multitask.
Like, I am on like 17 days straight. You're going to have to bear with me a little bit here, people. Who did we bring on?
Mustali. He came on.
Mustali. We brought in Mustali. That's right.
Yes. He was, because he's been hurt and he got his first run out too. And so,
yeah, but he's a kid as well, right? I mean, and he did fine. He did well, but he's not the answer. Okay, so look, I think you swayed me a bit here, but I think rightfully so, because I was trying to think is when you first asked the question, I was like, well, what difference did he make when he was here? And I get that obviously he's going to develop, so he's going to be further along than he was, but like he didn't do anything that made me feel like, oh, he's the next. Like he's the guy, right? There's no part of me that felt that way with him. So, and maybe this is me being older and I like a more established player better. I would like to see us get a veteran who knows, who has proven it and done it before, because sometimes I feel like when you're coming into a team that's struggling, you need a guy who's done it before who can lead from the front. And I don't know that bringing in a kid, unless he is like the next Messi or Ronaldo or whatever, which if that's up, they're not going to be in this league.
A Tate Johnson.
Look, I was going to get to him in a minute because, quite frankly, that guy has been balling out in Vancouver, just absolutely lighting up. And so I'm so proud of that kid. And I know his dad pretty well from when I was over at Tampa United, and a great family. He comes from good stock, but just happy for the whole family. But I would rather see a veteran come in at the front who can lead by example at the top, because sometimes you need a player that doesn't have to be coached on how to find space, but has done it and knows how to do it consistently, and can and it will instinctively take the shots that he needs to take and be in the position because it's just there. It's within him. And I don't know that a kid is the answer for that, but will we make that move? We don't typically do that, and again, where are you going to pull this person from? I mean, if you are a player that's worth anything in this league at this point, you've probably been picked up. It's tough to find talent in the middle league unless there's somebody dying to get out of a team on a contract.
Or
I don't know. I mean,
in Europe.
okay, yes, but does that always translate? I mean, have all the guys we pull from Europe translate? No.
Oh, so to build off that question, you say bring in an older guy. Does this roster feel older to you? Like a half step off and old?
Nope. Actually, it feels younger to me. In fact, I look at this team, they look like a bunch of babies. I feel like this team looks
Really?
younger.
I mean,
Yes,
Nate Worth is a
I
baby.
know we've got a lot of veterans out there, but the younger kids that we've pulled in, to me, it feels younger.
Woobs is pretty young. Woobens is young. Mustali's young.
That's the show.
And, Worth. Bassett's kind of young, but I don't know. I feel like it felt like compared to Loudon, early on, it felt like we were a little slow, a little half step behind it, and it felt old. But you might be right. I don't know. I am also just scrolling through and like maybe letting Joey Skinner get some minutes and moving Lawrence Wyke back to the midfield where he did very well under Neil. Like there's solutions. I'm not a coach. I've never coached. I've played field manager years ago or football manager years ago. I don't know what I'm doing. I barely play FIFA. So there are options available. I trust Jan Ekra, Steve Coleman. I trust the guys in charge to do this. I mean, we'll see. I don't think, again, to bring back to the original question, I still don't think bringing back Christian Ortiz is the answer.
Yeah. I'm with you. I'd rather see him grow and develop before we just bring him back. I don't think it's the right time.
And then Ben Cooper said, grateful they opened Gate 4 again. Subs were way too late. Leo's presence was a different. Maybe we kind of said the subs, I don't know what's going on there. I think like we're trying to get people minutes. I do think that like, yes, obviously you want to win the game, but I do think like they're balancing some injury, like a bunch of guys coming off injuries and minutes are being like, there's a lot of stuff going on early in the season that we don't understand. Like we are not getting the full thing of. And then I think Ben Cooper also said something you did about, will we ever drive the ball up the middle, crosses to new one, continue to stifle our attack?
Yeah, something that was addressed in the post game. Leo was very much managing his minutes. They knew he had 20 minutes. That's all they were going to give him. He was never going to come in sooner. That was planned from the beginning. So that sub wasn't going to happen any earlier. So I mean, some of these things are like you said. I mean, it's because we're bringing players back in. We're trying to get guys minutes and get them back into the full, obviously up to at least 45 or 60 minutes. So, and that's going to take time for these guys coming off of injuries. So yeah, I mean, I'm a fan of starting seeing subs around 65th. I think that's typically the time when you see subs 60th, 65th. And maybe we'll get to that, but maybe that's just not what's available to us right now.
So there's a book. I'm a nerd. That's well established. As you can see, the friggin' history books lined up, stacked up behind me, history, politics, whatever. I read a book once called Everything You Know About Soccer is Wrong. And it's a statistical analysis of things that we have accepted as universal truths in the game. One of them being the effectiveness of substitutes. And it seems to be coaching common wisdom that like 60 and 70th minute, 70 and 70 and 80th minute. If you're drawing or losing and going for the win, subs the later, like 70 minute on is ineffective. 50 to 60 is your most effective time to make those subs. And it feels counterintuitive because like it's just getting going. Data has shown that like players need time to grow into the game. And that 25 minutes isn't really enough. And I mean, lucky M. Kosana, who like was just a cheat code, like for a substitute.
He was a super sub.
Yeah. So you're like, obviously with data, there's always outliers. So, but my point is like, maybe I don't know Steve Coleman. I don't know what he's done, but I'm hoping we get one of these younger coaches that is willing to not go full Tampa Bay Rays of like analytics. Cause I don't think soccer is a sport where analytics sorry John Morrissey, I don't think like soccer can go full analytics, because I do think, I think in that book it also states early on that soccer weirdly is 50% luck. And what that means statistically is like it's random bounces off thighs, off the turf, off this, that can't be accounted for in data. So like it is hard to do analytics on these things. Like it's not like baseball where, you know, batting everything is broken down in averages and everything constantly. And so it's harder. But I do think there's some things, you know, like I think it said something about corner kicks, and like putting it into the mixer is not usually the best way. But like, and I think we've seen that data translate. We've seen more short corners. We've seen more like set piece style moves off of corners. So I think like there's been moves in that way, but I think for some reason coaches are very much 65th minute is when subs start at least. And it's like, we don't need to do that. Like you can get a little, you know, maybe it's a man management thing where you don't want to take a guy off at the 50th minute because they'll get pissed and they're like, I didn't suck. And it's like, no, game plan set. But I think that's a conversation you can have with the player, like game plan. If we're down one goal or we're even and we want to win, you're coming off in the 50th unless you're playing out of your mind.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I mean, that's a good point.
But so I would like to see stuff like that, but I don't know. I just maybe something to give these guys a little kick in the butt and get moving. Like I do agree that the energy level is up. We have seen some changes, and Steve will get there. It is way too early. But what would we be if we weren't two idiots talking into a microphone Monday morning, center backing it because we have nothing better to do? What's a fan-oriented podcast if we're not making BS hot takes about a club that just fired their manager and their new manager had 3 days to coach a team?
Yeah, I mean, look, if we weren't overreacting, are we really even doing our job? I mean, come on.
No.
I mean, the hot takes and overreactions is what it's all about.
Right. Like,
And, you know, I mean,
if we don't
yeah,
win,
it's like,
we're new at this. This chemistry's still developing. We're in preseason 2. If Steve Coleman doesn't win on Wednesday for the Open Cup, we need to fire him. I'm just kidding. Please do not do that. Don't do that. Steve Coleman needs to be here for a while.
I think the Rays have proven they hold on to people way too long. They are not afraid. Unless the money's right, it ain't happening. So
Yeah.
I think we're going to see Steve all the way through the end of the season. I would be highly shocked if he's not given the rest of the season, honestly. I just, unless this thing goes bad, and I mean bad, like no playoffs bad, I don't see it happening. They can plan now to hire a new coach in the offseason. They can be looking now. I highly doubt you do it. I don't think it happens. Something I didn't get to, by the way, and I wanted to talk a little bit about, was just some of the stuff that's going on around the stadium. The new team store, by the way, absolutely love it. Some of the changes they made around the stadium, I thought that was really awesome. I loved how it's now inside. You can have access from inside out. I believe they're going to be open during the week for people to go hit up the team store. There's some really cool gear. Like I'm wearing one right now. One of the ones I picked up. I like the jerseys. I like the fit. There's not a whole lot for the guys. I've been pushing retail to up their game a bit for us, but I'm only one person. What can I do? And they mostly tolerate me because I put their TVs up, which I still have to do tomorrow, but that's a different story altogether. But I thought the field looked great. And you mentioned Rouse Mob and Skyway Casuals bringing it. Like, dude, you're not kidding, man. Like that section was rocking. I mean, the side closest to the berm. I think that whole section was not just standing; they were screaming, and I heard at least 3 different languages. One I couldn't identify, all yelling, and it was awesome, man. Like I've forgotten what that felt like. I mean, regardless of the result of the game, like that was so much fun to see energy, and there's a lot of new faces, and maybe it's because I'm normally busy. I don't get a chance to stop and say hey to people. I have my 3 or 4 places that I go to say, hey, what's going on? How you doing? Fist bump, handshake. And I don't really take a deep look into the field or to the stands, but I did this time, and man, it was wild, man. It was a party up there. And I hope that as a fan base, we can hold on to that and keep bringing that, because again, Forrest talked about it in the postgame. He's like, that 12th man is real. Like they hear the players, even though, yes, they block everything out and they focus on the game. They do feel the energy of the crowd, and it's very much felt. And Dan, you've been there right there on the wall, standing in front of the mob. I mean, there's an energy and it is palpable. I mean, you can feel it coming off the crowd. And I thought for not being a sellout, I was really happy with the way the fans turned out for this game. Yeah, I didn't get a chance to mention it. I wanted to mention that real quick.
That's great. I agree. I mean, like considering where the stadium was, 7 months ago, and we didn't know
Where
if we
was
would
it?
ever come back.
Wednesday,
Like,
Tuesday.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, we don't get to see that, but yeah, everything I've heard was like construction, like it was pulling into the wire, and I know the staff I did talk to, and I've met while I was there. This part where most of you guys and gals like looked like you haven't slept in 3 weeks because this was the date. Like I'm pretty sure, like Ryan Helfrich, if you cut him, he bleeds sugar-free Red Bull right now. Like that man
So
looks
ironic
like
because I saw with one
yeah.
quite a few times. Yeah. I mean, like you guys at home don't know this, but I was there. I mean, Ryan was there every night till late at night. I mean, Jason, Laura, I mean, Phil, the new director of ground. I mean, like those guys are there first thing in the morning, working all day. Those ops people who almost never get a chance to watch the game. The effort that gets put in by the staff, especially, and not just on every home game, but in this game. I mean, seeing what the Rowdy staff did to get this place ready. I mean, I was really, I was proud as a fan. And as somebody who works with them, what they did to make all this happen, there's so many moving parts to a game that you don't see, and you're not supposed to. Like if they do their job right, you don't see them, and that's a credit to the work that these guys have done year after year after year. And to watch it come back from from the Hurricanes, again, I was very proud of what the staff did.
You should be. I mean, we all should be. Like, it was amazing. One thing I want to address that's a hot take. We're going to keep going. Let's keep rolling.
No, yeah.
That's kind of my hot take. And I'm sure, like, it's a half joke that's been going around since we fired Robbie is like, Neil Collins coming back, blah, 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 blah. While I love Neil and what he does, we need this club to be able to take a step without Neil Collins. And the quicker
Agreed.
we can move out of that shadow and like let Steve Coleman be Steve Coleman, because I do think that Robbie Nielsen, and we've said it before, living under Neil Collins' shadow is hard. I mean, Neil's son, the Scottish guy coming in after the Scottish, like it was so like those shoes were impossible to fill. And I think, he had a lot of like, redheaded stepchild syndrome in that thing. So like, I do think that we should let Neil do his thing in Sacramento, let go of that, the one that got away, and back this team fully. But that was my last hot take. Do you have anything you want to add to that?
No, I think we've gone back and forth plenty in this one. I think we've covered pretty much our feelings on it all. And look, guys, I'm excited for next week. I mean, it's going to be a challenging week, but look, I'm excited to see what's coming. And look, there are going to be some interviews coming. I definitely am going to try and line up Steve at some point, get a one-on-one with him. I'd love to get some thoughts. I know you guys would like some thoughts, so stay tuned, guys. We're going to be around. We aren't going anywhere.
So I guess to bring it home, to piggyback off what you were just saying about everybody behind the scenes, and once again to make this show a little emotional, I want to thank from top to bottom Ryan Helfrich for being so kind, and I reached out to get like Matt's family and friends tickets to that game, and it wasn't like it was a hassle or anything. It was, how many more do you need? Do you need anything else? Like, and constant check-ins, making sure everybody was okay, got what they need. And so, like, from the top to bottom of the Rowdies organization, just class acts that have always been. The Rowdies fam hashtag or moniker can feel cringe at times, but this is really a community from fans like Ralph's Mob and the Skyway Casuals. Like I'm pretty sure it's the Casuals guy group that painted the tifo, and the mob. If any of the mob members, it's crossover to me. But like I just want to make sure credit gets to where credit is due. Doing that tifo, getting it out there, the love and everything for everybody who was honored in the moment of silence beforehand, but especially Matt, who's been like such a big part of this show. Well, this show, but like everybody just there, and what everybody did to make Aaron, Sloan, everybody else to feel welcome and loved and appreciated. I'm pretty sure that Pod Daughter got a bunch of stories about her dad while she was just trying to walk around the stadium. But it's a testament to the listeners of this show, you and I, everybody has watched her grow up and in the stands and through his stories on the show, and he's touched so many of our lives that. But there's again back to the main thing. The club was so great and so classy this weekend to do such a great thing for Matt and for us and friends and family and the community, and the banner. I hope it's there every game. I really do. I'm sure it will be. But so I just want to say that thank you from the bottom of our. Oh, and before it, Ryan and Drew with their call right after halftime. I saw it on the plane. I listened to it on the plane when I was getting off the plane, and I just started crying again because like it's just beautifully said. And I know Drew especially is a fan before he's a broadcaster, not of just the show, but of the Rowdies. He's a big part of this Rowdies community as well. Ryan is, he's Ryan. Like, what are you going to say about him? He's just a top tier commentator and just guy. Just hearing them give Matt the respect and the love was just amazing. So again, just class through this organization, top to bottom. It's why we continue to do the show, why we want to be a part of it, and we love everybody, top to bottom. And I can't wait to be back under hopefully happier circumstances. But I'll be watching and supporting from here, from our unofficial Tampa Bay Rowdies bar in Harlem, Beer Run Harlem. There's scarves hanging. We put some podcast scarves up so we have a bar up here. If anybody's in the city, come to Harlem on game, for match days, and we'll have some beers and watch. They also have, non-alcoholic options. But anyway, I don't need to plug them. They're not sponsoring, but maybe I'll talk to them.
They're not sponsoring us yet.
But yeah, so thank you, everybody. I think Ben and I have talked enough for the night.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts, comments?
No, guys, just thanks for the support. We look forward to what's to come. I mean, I'm excited for this team. I'm grateful for Dan and for Matt and for the whole Rowdies organization, and I'm excited to get back at it next week. I'll be there. And I look forward to seeing everybody.
All right. So thank you all for listening. That was my We Love You. I don't know if we're going to still do that or how often. I feel like just one permanent We Love You to Matt and crew is where we're at. But thank you all for listening. Like, rate us, 5 stars, please. And feel free to interact with us on socials, Unused Sub Pod on Blue Sky. The Facebook page is, I think, Unused Subs Pod with an S. Confusing. Find us on Spotify, YouTube. I'm not sure if it's on any other platforms yet. Please bear with us trying. But we love you, and we'll talk to you next week.
It's good to see you guys. Come on, you Rowdies.
The Rowdies run here, the Rowdies run there, they kick the ball around. The Rowdies run here, the Rowdies run there, and then they fall on the ground. Oh, the Rowdies, the Rowdies, the Rowdies are kicking the grass. When the Rowdies play soccer, it's a sight to behold. You'll swear there'll be devils with magical toes. You'll laugh, you'll cheer, you'll leap from your seat when they kick with their head instead of their feet. The Rowdies run here, the Rowdies run there, they kick the ball around. The Rowdies run here, the Rowdies run there, and then they fall on the ground. Oh, the Rowdies, the Rowdies, the Rowdies are kicking the grass. When the Tampa Bay Rowdies take the field, there's a roar. The fans' loyal fannies cheer the team they adore. There's music, there's laughter, pretty girls all around. It's exciting to live in a pro soccer town. The Rowdies run here, the Rowdies run there, they kick the ball around.